Welcome to Spiritual Steps, a podcast about learning to pray, listen, and grow by taking small steps on the spiritual journey. I'm your host, Stephen Hovatter, and this is episode 39, Music for the Sake of Music. Music is everywhere in our world, but nobody's listening to it. Or rather, I should say, nobody is just listening to it. It's become filler, backdrop, environment. It's there to provide ambiance. So it's there so we don't have to deal with awkward silences. So in our grocery stores or malls or elevators or cars or workplaces, there's just a little bit of a soundtrack always running in the background. Music's just there, but nobody's really listening to it. Now, normally I'm on the side of silence, but in this episode, I want to encourage you to do something else. Take some time and listen to music. Listen to music for the music's sake. Sit, chill, headphones on. Or if you've got the home system, crank it up and grab a seat or dance it out. Just let yourself give your full attention to the music. Solitary listening to music. Now, this is partly a spiritual practice of attention, and frankly, you could use more attention on the visual arts as well. I think taking the time to really fully absorb a piece of art is good for your system in almost any medium, like a piece of poetry or a novel, a fine painting, a sculpture, certainly a piece of music. Allowing yourself to fully enter into the piece of art can be a useful meditative practice, whether it's letting yourself be absorbed into an orchestra's take on Mozart or Bach, or just listening to the latest offering of U2 or Chance the Rapper. Listening to music with just an isolated sense of being wrapped up into what the music is and it's doing and how it's constructed. That is a pretty interesting meditative practice for our time. See, I think we all need to flex our muscles of attention and intention. And listening to music gives you the chance to do both of those things. It lets you develop your capacity for attention by providing a rich stream to attend to. Listen, there's a lot of fine music in the world with layers of complexity and meaning just waiting to be unwrapped and waiting to be explored. If we can just give the music our attention. Of course, the same kind of attentiveness is very useful in lots of corners of the spiritual life, whether we're talking about reflective listening prayer or the practices of hearing, attending to Scripture, becoming a better listener in every case that I can think of, whether we're thinking about group dynamics or what it means to really listen to what's happening inside your own soul. Becoming a better listener develops your spiritual life for the better. Taking in a piece of music with focused attention can help deepen your capacity for listening, for giving attention to something with purpose and intent. And on that note, on the level of intention, I think any practice where we do something with purpose and intent, trying to be fully present in what we're doing really just one thing at a time, any practice like that can help us learn to act purposefully in the world, to be intentional people. And that's part of what I want to strike at in this practice. And I'm only, partly playfully suggesting it. I really think that taking something that's normally an afterthought, like music, something that's just filling space all around the world, and giving it full intention and attention is a pretty good idea. Whether that's something like, attending to some piece of art, or some physical practice, like fully paying attention to the process of eating your breakfast or lunch, or fully attending to, stretching your body out, or some piece of exercise, or, of course, just fully attending to listening to some piece of music. See, intention and attention are a powerful combination for our spiritual lives. And many of the most useful spiritual practices demand them, and in turn, they develop them. But these don't have to be complicated practices. It's really just about finding ways in your life to give full attention and give intention to everything you do. And any way you can intentionally practice those things, what I'm suggesting in this episode is fairly simple and fairly passive when you get started, right? Anything you can do moves you towards being a more attentive and intentional person. So listen, pick a piece of music, give it your full, undivided attention, and then go in peace. And it doesn't sound like much as a spiritual practice. Hey, listen, give it a try. You might find that it's something you've missed, and it's probably something you're going to want a bit more of in your life. That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening. If you have any comments or questions, or you just want to extend the conversation, reach out on Twitter. My username is @StephenHovatter. I would love to hear what pieces of music you sat and listened to with full attention, by the way. And if this sort of thing is useful to you, go ahead and subscribe in whatever podcasting app you love. If you're looking for one, Overcast is my jam. But, there's lots of good ones out there. We'll be back soon with a new episode. Until then, keep taking the next step that you see in front of you, and may God be with you on each step of your journey. Peace.